Shalom, shalom, halal, Yahbashim, Yahbashim, Yakadash. Double honors to the apostles, salutations to the elect. Men, women, and children that believe are the 1/3. Yeah, touch on a couple of points en route, as usual. Touching on like the draconian measures that's coming, because we all know the New World Order is a term. They don't call it the New World Order. They say the Great Reset, because everything gonna be reset based upon, their new system and according to the guidelines of their new system. And a lot of old things, how they used to do shit, gonna be done away, or it's gonna be more stricter. It says he opened his mouth as a dragon, so which goes into severe, meaning more draconian measures. So dealing with Eve in the Section 8, they cracking down on that all throughout the country. And even though the stamp's been turned back on, a lot of people not getting as much as they was getting. And they don't just stop there, because this all part of Jacob's trouble. And it's gradually ushering in the time of Jacob's trouble. But it don't just stop there, because so like you got the Section 8. So that's just the stamps. But you got the Section 8 that they wanna and then certain states, gonna adopt it first, and then other states. Basically, they want to put cameras in your house, and that's not too far-fetched, because when the welfare came out and all that in '72, they had a movie called Claudine with James Earl Jones. Decent little movie. Check it out. You get a chance. And basically, they had spies. They would send, little agents over there to come do inspections, to look at the apartment, whether it's damaged, mainly to see if you got any type of man staying up in there, because that's a good way, to beat the system. And Jake especially been doing that for like eons, where, you could possibly duck, because if you put like the more people you put on a lease, they could go up, because, say if it's like $700 a month, but if you got 2 more adults in there, they could be like, oh no, you breaking the lease. If you want 2 more people, I gotta go up to 1,000. So, Jake for years was able to, manipulate that, be at Eve's house or, stuff like that. But now what they talking about is, because everything digital, they don't want to have, they don't want to have physical human beings coming through to do inspections. Case in point, like you got the meter man back in Jersey and shit. The meter man was coming through, and they ask you, can they go in the basement to read the meter? But now, they got the digital meter, and I don't trust that shit. But now they kind of like, they don't need the meter man no more. Like the shit, they could just read it from where they at. But with that they could jack the shit up, jack it down. Be like, oh, the price is this. You're like, man, that's ridiculous. But once it's digital, so they coming in saying like, we getting rid of these old meters. We gonna have like a digital meter type scan to read it. And what's gonna happen to the meter men that walk the neighborhood knocking on doors saying they gotta read the meter? They're gonna get laid off. Just another layoff, which they want, because they want everybody on a UBI, which is basically welfare for the whole world, especially here in Babylon. Because it's like, yo, once there's no jobs, like, what the hell you want us to do? tailgating hard as hell and it's raining. So it'd be rear-ending people and shit. People don't, it's fucking cocky, man. They don't respect the weather, the roads. Like, fucking raining cats and dogs, you would think somebody take their time or, you know, be a little bit more humble. But anyway, so they don't need, they gonna have it where they don't need, well, if you know, it's a saying, Big Brother is always watching. And who's Big Brother? Esau. He was the first one out. And, you know, under, especially 45 days after 9/11, they passed the Patriot Act, which basically allows them to spy on you. So if you more relying on the system, you're going to have to comply. Now, people that's more a little independent, they're going to have to comply too at the end of the day, but people who more relying on a system, it's easier to get them to bow down first, and they used to receiving certain benefits and all of that, and they complacent, so it's easy to threaten them, and they'd be like, okay, you know, and they just do what you want. But they're gonna have it where they was talking about they gonna put cameras and shit up, even in the apartment. Now, of course, you can't put it in the bathroom, but imagine that. And definitely outside the apartment, you know, to where they able to monitor, or say they don't put it in the apartment, which I believe this devil would, but he might put it outside your door, because, you know, a lot of these spots is only one way in and one way out. They might put it outside, you know, you stay in apartment 3C, because one of the hoods, the brother from back in Jersey, the Spires, they basically a fucking project, but it's kind of like it's a project, but it's not a project in a sense. It's hood as hell, that what makes it a project, but it's not like the setup of a project. Cause you know, you got people that really like live there, work type shit like that. It's not all like low income type shit. But we was up in there, I forget, 2018, 2019. We actually seen them like, but they always had cameras in the lobby, but they put cameras in the fucking incinerator room where you dump the garbage. They put cameras in, it's like 17 floors, so they put like cameras on each floor in each hallway. Then they put cameras in the fucking in the stairwell, in the exits. So you going up and down the stairs, there's cameras in the staircase. So you like, man, shit, you can't, what the fuck, like, you can't do nothing. It's over. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, shit on lockdown. And we saw like the development over it, but you know, I haven't been over there in a while. Even when I do go back there, I haven't been up in there. But I could imagine how locked down that shit is now. And that's just the cameras you see. So imagine like the other hidden cameras and everything and all of that. So even that, you know what I mean, they could monitor the cameras from a live feed to where they can have, you know, what they call the shit, face recognition. So they don't even really need a human being. They can have you register, you know what I mean, through your Section 8 or your housing or whatever. They can have you register everybody that's supposed to be in there with face recognition. Then they also got voice recognition. So where it might could pick up a voice, an unknown voice, and that shit real. I had lost my bank card, so I called for another one. And they like, I thought, you know, punch your numbers in and all that shit. They like, nah, fuck all of that. You know, just repeat your address. and we gonna use voice recognition to know it's you. I'm like, what the fuck? And that shit was, they was like, this is don't worry, this is as effective as fingerprint. And, you know, or even better. And one time, I had called, it was for something. It wasn't for, I lost my card, but I called for something. The bank or whatever. And I had a little cold, so I had to do the voice recognition again. But, you know, when you got a little cold or your voice a little hoarse, that shit did not pick up my voice and shit, like, at all. So this devil on another level, he about to lock this shit down. But then when he lock it down, I mean, people gonna have freedom to come and go and do what they do, but shit it's gonna be a different type of slavery. You know what I mean? So you're going to be like watched and tracked on like everything you do. But they was talking about like how the Section 8, they wanted to bring the cameras around to where it's like you you know, they're able to see everybody who come in and out of your place. And then they'll have like face recognition. And the shit might alert them like, yo, this is somebody that don't live here. So, and you, of course, you can have visitors or whatever, but they probably like, you know, like, yo, damn, this motherfucker never left. Like, you might be like, oh, he stayed the night or some shit like that, but they like, nah, you know, like, they probably have it like a visitor can't stay no more than 2 nights. Type shit like that. Cause you know Jake like to tweet shit like, oh, he just staying the night, or they just staying the night. And they like, oh no visitors. Then they might have it like, yo, it's the same, you know, you might have your sister, you know what I mean? Cause shit hard out here, you know, you might have your sister come crash with you or whatever like that, and they be like, nah, oh, that's your sister again. Cause through the face recognition. And they don't need nobody on the other end of the feed. Like, all that shit is like computer generated, like through robots, face recognition. That shit be done flag the system once the biometric scam don't like recognize like the person or whatever. And you know, that could get people like evicted and all that other shit. So basically, man, this devil, all of so-called freedoms you have, they might still be around lingering, but he's gonna make it like way harder to get. Or if you do get it, it's just gonna be like such a bitch to be on that shit. You know how you got access to something and you like, man, if it come with all of that, I'd rather just not take the shit, because like the headache of having it and dealing with it is just like too much. And the stress that it's causing you, you like, man, fuck all that shit, man. I'd rather just not, you know what I mean? But depend on your living situation, what type of jam you in or whatever. Some people are gonna be like forced to comply. And you know, that's all lined up with the MOTB at the end of the day. But for now, the system is just like being set up and built. The beast system is actually in the play, and they're gonna reset it. And it's just like a video game, you know what I mean? Because those of y'all that play video games, most men had some type of video game. Like, you got the power button, then you got the reset button. And when the video game is glitching or fucking up, you don't just turn it off. You hit the reset button, you reset it. It's like a little switch to reset it. Like the old Nintendo 64, you know what I mean? The Sega Genesis shit. You know what I mean? Regular Nintendo, you just reset it. Even on your phone. If your phone acting funny or having problems and shit, it's not acting right, you don't turn it off and turn it back on, because that'll be too much of a hassle. You just reset it and it kind of shut down and reboot itself and get rid of all the cache, the garbage, and get that shit up out of there and kind of like reboot itself and it be working better, be ready to go. And that's Esau for you, man. That's the modern day system, this world. It got a bunch of problems. I mean, Esau think he gonna fix the problems based on his new setup or whatever, but in his mind, I'm gonna reset this bitch. You know, the inflation is high, the debt is high. We got our new set of rules, we got everything in place, and I'm gonna just hit the reset button. And it might even be blackouts, like the scriptures say, I will smite Egypt with plagues as before. So it might even be blackouts to the point, because when you reset your video game, the shit go blank for a second. Same thing with your phone. So this devil might have a blackout period. And when he's like, all right, so everybody gotta come back, and that's what they'll do. Like, all right, everybody come down here, you gotta re-sign back up. But in your mind, like, man, we answered all these questions. But basically what they doing is they doing a revision of those questions based upon their new system. So things you was eligible for before, you might not be. You know what I mean? Or you might be eligible for better shit, but you gotta sacrifice more, or however they, you know what I mean, gonna have it. But definitely more draconian measures coming. Hey, with that, hey, shalom. Yeah, what's up, shalom?